Oh, there you are, YouTube. Do. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to do a February haul. I know we are a little over a week into March, and it just occurred to me, hey, I didn't do a February haul, and I was like, did I even buy anything in February? And yes, of course I did. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, though you could actually say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 things? You could say 7 things, depending on how you want to look at it. I don't remember if this is the order in which I bought everything in, but we're going to get to it. So let's get to it, shall we? First off, we have Keanu. Did I say Keanu? Keanu and Co. And this comes to us from our friends over at, where the heck did I get this? I don't even remember. Was this Vinegar Syndrome? I feel like it was, but I don't see that Vinegar Syndrome logo anywhere. Who did this? Ooh, when I just said that, if you've ever seen the movie Basquiat, there's a scene where Renee, the character Renee, who is played by the person who was originally supposed to play Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, who was hired and then fired, and then old, what's his name came in. He goes, "Who made this?" That kind of sounded like that when I said that. Who made this? So, anyway, Keanu and Co. This is like a grouping of short films by a single director. This is something that I still haven't watched yet, and Keanu is in it. I've seen every movie Keanu Reeves has been in, both made for TV and theatrical. However, I have not seen all of his short films, so I have not seen this. But I will watch it, and the film that he is in is actually called One Step Away. And then there are 2 other films on this that he is not in. Both of them short. All 3 of them are shorts. So yeah, I got this. I thought it was very cool. And I was very glad to add it to the collection because I've seen everything he's in. And if they're selling something extra, I might as well buy it and maybe eventually watch it. So, we got that. Let me clear a space over here for it. All right, so I got that. Next, we have, here's the thing where I was talking about how many things did I buy, because this one's sort of a box set, if you will. And it is Twin Peaks from Z to A. Rest in peace, David Lynch. Rest in peace. Massive, enormous loss in art. Incredibly huge loss in art. But anyway, this has the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, from back in the 90s. It also has Fire Walk With Me, which is a film. And then it also has Twin Peaks The Return. Is that what it's called? I think it is. Twin Peaks The Return. Original series. Yeah, I don't know. It just says limited series event. But anyway, that limited series event, which was so good. So good. And so weird. So weird. Kyle MacLachlan's doing some stuff where we're like, do I like this? You're questioning the whole time. Do I like this? And I, ultimately, after like time to think about it, and here's the crazy thing, this was on television. And if you watch this, there's like episodes where it's just like watching a slow motion black and white atom bomb explode in extreme slow motion or something like that. I don't know. Or just like, if you had like a camera inside a deep freeze and you shut it, and then the deep freeze, like frozen particles started swirling around, and you're able to videotape that. It's like he captured that or something. I don't know. It was just amazing. Like David Lynch, that is an enormous loss in art. Like, huge. huge, as as Julia Roberts would say. So, very glad to have this. I love Twin Peaks. I got into it through my wife. She is from Seattle, Washington, and I've been to Washington once with her, and I'd like to go back. But while we were there, we hit up some filming locations of Twin Peaks. She just feels very at home when we watch this. Although I live in the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. I've never lived anywhere further than an hour away from the house I grew up in. But you know, she's from the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, born there, raised there, and came out here to the Midwest and had a tough time in the beginning getting used to our ways and getting used to our landscape, very flat land where I live. But now she would call herself a Midwesterner, and she's fallen in love with the culture and everything that we have, and she considers herself a Midwesterner, and I think that's cool. But there's still some of that Seattle, some of that Northwest within her, and I think Twin Peaks, whenever we watch it, whenever there's any sort of Twin Peaks thing going on, she's taken back. She's taken back to her roots, and I think that's really cool. I think it's pretty cool I'm married to a Pacific Northwesterner. That's kind of where I actually, when the Twilight movies came out, which were filmed in Forks, Washington, when I saw those movies, I was like, man, I would love to live there. It just feels nice, that maritime climate. I just feel like I would thrive there. It doesn't get too cold, doesn't get too hot. Overcast is nice. You're not squinting. You're not squinting in the sun. And this was before I knew her, knew my wife. And then it turns out I marry somebody from there. Not Forks, but, you know, from the Pacific Northwest. So that's kind of cool. She wouldn't want to move back. And I don't even know if I would want to live there. I like the Midwest. But, you know, sometimes when I think of climate, I think of the Pacific Northwest. Like if I were to end up anywhere else, I think I would dig it. One time I was in Juneau, Alaska, and it was during the summer, and I was wearing a hoodie, and it was just perfect hoodie weather. And that's what I like. I like the fall. I like the fall here in the Midwest, where you're just wearing a hoodie. You know, it just feels nice. And that's the way the summer was in Juneau, Alaska. And I really loved it. So that maritime climate, it calls my name. But I'll probably stay here in the Midwest, where we have all 4 seasons. All 4 of them. But this is the Pacific Northwest. Anyway, next we have a film that dropped on Kino Lorber's site. I mean, production. I don't know what do you call it. Kino Lorber Boutique label. There we go. Label. Dropped on Kino Lorber's label, Summer Rental, with our man John Candy. One of the greatest comedians that Canada has exported to the United States. Canada, thank you so much for the comedians you have sent our way. It is just, I don't even know if we could say thank you enough for all the Canadians you have sent to us. People like him, people like Jim Carrey, Martin Short. You know, the list is endless, but Summer Rental here. So yeah, this was a Kino Lorber drop. Super excited to have this in the collection. I feel like this is a lower amount watch for me in terms of John Candy movies. So I'm glad to have it in the collection. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm kind of ready to watch that again. I gotta get. My wife isn't a big comedy fan. She doesn't watch a lot of comedies, so I'll either have to find a way to get her to watch it, or I'll have to wait till she's out of the house because we share a TV. I share a TV with my wife and 2 daughters. When am I ever gonna watch a movie that I want to watch? Right? You gotta do that diplomatic thing, right? So yeah, I'm excited to rewatch that because it's been a while. And because I bought this, I was like, you know what? Other sort of vacationy um, John Candy movie that I love and watched quite a bit growing up that I did not own. I was like, you know what? I got to buy this too. And that was The Great Outdoors. Now, this one is the old 76er. Is that right? How many ounces was that steak? I can't remember. There's nothing left on that plate but gristle and fat. You know what? He's got to eat it. Now, this one here with Dan Aykroyd, John Candy and Dan Aykroyd, just an amazing duo here in The Great Outdoors. Now, this one I had watched way more and was a big fan of it. I would catch it on movie channels, and whenever it was on, I was like, heck yeah. But look at this art. This is some fantastic artwork that we're looking at right here. I mean, kind of both of these, right? Who's with me? Who's ready to look at these? Look at that. Look at that X right here. Man, I dig it. Wonderful stuff right there from our man John Candy, just knocking it out of the park with his humor, with his comedy, with his sincerity. Love it. And then the final film I got here, I don't know if it was the final film I bought, but it's the final film I'm going to show you today in this breakdown of the February purchases, the February pickups, and that is Wicked. Now, this movie I picked up with my daughters. My daughters are in love with this movie. We took them to the theater to see it, and they were instant fans, especially of Glinda. They are big on the color pink, and who's wearing pink in this movie? Glinda is. So therefore, they're big Glinda fans. They also love Elphaba so much. My in-laws recently got some additional chickens. Egg prices, man. You got to get your own chickens. They got some hens, and they are laying eggs. And actually, they're chicks right now, so they aren't laying eggs yet. But they will eventually lay eggs. And they let my daughters name 4 of them. So my daughters are also really into The Lion King. So they named 2 of the chickens Simba and Nala. And then they allowed them to name 2 of the other ones. And they named them Elphaba and Glinda. And I just think that is so beautiful, so amazing. So we got 2 chickens running around named Elphaba and Glinda. Maybe we'll call them Elfie and Glindy. That'll be my nicknames, Elfie and Glindy. But yeah, my kids, they fell in love with this. They fell in love with the music. They sing the songs every day. Every day. And I love it. I just think it's beautiful and great. And, you know, I had film obsessions, movie obsessions when I was a little kid, and they do too. And I like that. I have passed that down to them. Their love of cinema, their love of movies. Today, they watch Zootopia, and they were just so engaged. They've seen it before, and it's become one of their new favorites. And we also watched Lady and the Tramp, and that has been a favorite of theirs for a while. And just the way they, you know, absorb that film, it just brings so much warmth to my heart. I would watch Lady and the Tramp at my grandparents' house when I was a kid. And, you know, I liked it, but I was more of like, you know, I was into the 90s stuff. Little Mermaid through The Lion King. That was like my era. But yeah, my grandparents had Lady and the Tramp, and I would watch it, and it was okay. But when my kids like started watching it and really fell in love with it, I realized how much of a wonderful master class that is in animation. Even though there's a little moment right there where they had to cut some corners with animation. If you know, you know. If you've seen it, you've seen it. But anyway, it's just beautiful. It's so good, so wonderful. And Lady and the Tramp is, I don't know. It's like it has laid a special place in my heart because again, I watched it as a kid. It wasn't my favorite. But now that it's one of my kids' favorite films, and they've been watching it, you know, for a couple years now, it's become one of my favorites. I absolutely love and adore Lady and the Tramp. And that's the thing here with this. Like, I really did like this movie the first time I watched it. And then I took the kids to it. My wife and I, we took the kids because they were interested, and we thought they would like it. And they loved it, and it is just like a part of their being now, and it just made me love the movie so much more. They are such big Cynthia fans. They are such big Ariana fans. And I don't know, it brings me so much joy to see them love a movie, cuz I love movies. It's like such an important part of my life, a part of my identity, I guess. Like movies and watching them and rewatching them and getting acquainted with them, treating them as friends, as obsessions, all of those things. And they're doing that. They're doing that. And this is one of the movies they've done it with. And I don't know, I just love to see it. It makes me very happy. Anyway, this is that February haul right here. I'm talking about that Keanu and Co. We're also talking about that Twin Peaks from Z to A. You know we got that Summer Rental. And of course, The Great Outdoors. And I hope you didn't forget, but also the Wicked. Sorry, Wicked. We got that too. So this is our haul from February. It's a little bit behind. I know we're a week overdue here, but you know what? These are our movies right here. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot, especially if you made it to the end. Man, much appreciated to everybody who made it to the end. And those who watched the commercials and the previews and didn't skip through. Anytime you do that, I think it helps the channel, supposedly. You know, I don't know too much about it, but you know, once I just like monetized this thing like a couple months ago. I've been able to for like a full over a year, and then I don't know, just didn't do it, but I did it a couple months ago. So those that have stuck around, and if you're watching those commercials, thank you so much. You're helping me buy more movies. You're helping me, you know, buy groceries. You're helping me, you know, pay rent, you know, all that stuff. So thank you so much. Really means a lot. And thank you so much for watching. And perhaps we'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.